The year is 1992. You're a simple Romanian citizen struggling to make ends meet and feed yourself and your family in a deeply corrupt, unstable, unbothered, and poverty-stricken country. But not all hope is lost. Descending like an angel from the skies, a humble gentleman arrives with the deal of your lifetime. Give me all your money you can gather, and I shall grant you 8 times that amount in a couple of months. This is your last chance at getting rich. You're desperate and broke. So you sell your fridge, your furniture, and anything you can get your hands on to get as much profit as possible. You make the long journey to the Romanian El Dorado, aka Cluj, and deposit all your household savings, waiting for your glorious 8-fold return. And then you wait, and wait, and wait. Congratulations! You just fell for the Caritas scam, the biggest pyramid scheme in Romanian history. Hundreds of thousands of hapless Romanians like you scammed of billions of dollars worth of goods and savings, all vanished in an instant. How did Caritas grow into this infamous nationwide pyramid scheme? How did so many people fall for it? And what happened to their savings? It all begins with a simple man, Ioan Stoica, an accountant from Brașov. 2 years after the fall of Ceausescu's communist dictatorship, Romania was still in utter chaos, struggling to transition to a capitalist economy and plagued by mutual aid games, competing for who can scam more people. Thus, the stage was set for Stoica to launch his very own get-rich-quick scheme under the Caritas LLC. Conceptually, Caritas was nothing more than a textbook Ponzi scheme. I feel it's been a while since a YouTuber explained what a Ponzi scheme is, so let me break it down. You attract a few eager investors who get paid out with investments of more recent investors. Everyone was incentivized to recruit others, so they themselves had higher chances of getting their money back, while people at the bottom of this food chain could kiss their savings goodbye. Curious, it kinda looks like a pyramid from back here. And that's exactly how the Caritas scheme worked. At first, it was just another mutual aid game like any other in Brașov. Then, Stoica moved his base of operations to Cluj-Napoca, where he signed an advertisement deal with the local newspaper Transylvanian Messenger. This publication played a huge role in cleaning up Stoica's image. From a literal nobody with a not-so-clean record, he was revered as a humble workaholic who sheds blood, sweat, and tears for the betterment of the people. Caritas became a noble mission, meant to ease Romania's transition into capitalism and break as many people out of the shackles of poverty as possible. 8-fold returns on any investment in 2 months? Sounds ridiculous, impossible, too good to be true, doesn't it? But if one man could put an end to poverty in Romania, it's gotta be Ioan Stoica, goddammit! And so, thanks to the noble cause and positive media coverage, people took the bait. At first, only citizens of Cluj were allowed to deposit cash into Stoica's bank accounts. However, in 1993, the scheme was open to anyone across the country. Sales of the Messenger skyrocketed, being the only newspaper where the winners of the scheme were posted, and Ioan Stoica was glazed endlessly as the angel of capitalism and charity. A true genius of the Carpathians, not like that fucking other guy. More doubters were converted into believers, and many more chose to pawn their goods and home appliances to maximize their profit. Go big or go home. Life savings, all on red. That's what I always say, baby. This mentality quickly infected the whole country, turning Caritas from a local curiosity into a national crisis. Kinda like the NFT bubble in the USA. At its peak, the scheme's terrifying scale became clear. It was estimated that between 35 and 50% of Romanian households were directly involved. According to the president of BNR, the National Bank of Romania, Caritas held around a third of Romania's money supply in its financial circuit. In total, this Ponzi scheme swallowed somewhere between $1 billion and $5 billion worth of the population savings, making it one of the largest financial frauds in history and utterly devastating to Romania's fragile post-communist economy. But you know what doesn't have to be devastating? Your language learning experience, and that's why you should use FluentU. FluentU is an app and website that makes the language learning experience much more enjoyable and seamless by using real videos like movies and TV shows, music videos, news clips, you know, stuff you'd actually want to watch. With FluentU, I can get interactive subtitles, and if I don't know a word, just hover over it, and FluentU instantly gives me the definition and image, pronunciation, example sentences, and even shows me other videos where the word is used. It's incredible for building vocabulary naturally. And get this, they have a Chrome extension that lets me do this same thing on Netflix movies and shows. I'm able to watch my favorite shows in Spanish and learn from them at the same time. Or I can do the same with YouTube videos that have subtitles. I can even scroll through the app's curated video libraries suitable for beginner and intermediate level learners. Currently, FluentU supports 10 languages, including Spanish, German, Russian, and Italian, making it the perfect tool for asking the Italian waiter to slather my pizza in ketchup in their native language. It's not just about watching content and looking up words. If I'd want to really hone in on learning languages efficiently, FluentU has this really smart review system with quizzes that builds me up from understanding words to actually forming sentences. It's available on web, iOS, and Android too. Click the link in the description to get a free 14-day trial and a 40% discount after. If you're serious about mastering a language and want a way to stay motivated using authentic content, I can't recommend FluentU more. It's a true game changer for learning any language. So don't waste any time and check out FluentU today. It's no wonder that this pyramid scheme reached the ridiculous heights it did. Romanian society at that time was practically engineered to be as financially gullible as possible. Just look at the average Romanian at the time. The only thing they grew up with was a heavily monitored economy ruled by an authoritarian shoemaker. After the fall of communism, they were simply thrown to the wolves, forced to learn foreign concepts like markets and enterprises all by themselves, not to mention the deep distrust in traditional banks, mostly state-owned or anything to do with the government. But collective Romanian naivety about market economics alone doesn't explain why and how Caritas in particular grew so big. It's not like it was the only Ponzi scheme happening in Romania at the time. So why did so many people put their hopes and dreams into Ioan Stoica and his company? As it turns out, Stoica successfully paid off the promised 8-fold returns for the first investors, an important step in ensuring the ongoing success of a Ponzi scheme. Subsequent winners were always published daily on the Messenger, which gave Caritas more credibility than the average mutual aid scheme. The Transylvanian Messenger also played a huge role in convincing its readers and recruiting future investors, while constantly inflating Stoica's public image. At the height of his popularity, Stoica landed an interview on the national television channel TVR, granting him and Caritas even more credibility and trustworthiness. Caritas grew more popular and less eyebrow-raising, as the only media coverage it got was positive, and the Romanian government, as apathetic and useless as always, did nothing to combat its growth. Even before the rise of Caritas, there were plenty of other outrageous scams that should have forced the government's hand by then. And even when Caritas got too big to handle, politicians voted against making pyramid schemes illegal, citing that it would cause public outrage. I mean, NATO, Russia, dude. Legalizing pyramid schemes? Now that's realpolitik. In fact, why should politicians or the SRI pull the plug on Caritas when there were so many of them that profited off of it? This is Romania after all. If you invest your money here, you're just asking to lose it. While Ioan Stoica was the founder and mastermind behind Caritas, The scheme would have been nothing without the help and influence of influential people like Gheorghe Funar, a conspiracy theorist and total nutjob, but crucially, Cluj-Napoca's mayor.
We have a new train line here in Cluj-Napoca, Emil Boc. We have a store there. Romania is not poor, not third world country. New lines, you see. Everything brand new.
As the ultranationalist mayor of Cluj, Funar didn't just endorse the scam, he effectively made it an arm of the municipal government. The city council allowed Caritas to use key public spaces like the sports hall and parts of the city hall to manage the immense queues of depositors, giving the fraud the absolute seal of official legitimacy. But the relationship ran even deeper. In a surreal twist, Caritas allegedly sponsored city renovations, funding work on roads, hospitals, and sports venues. Aw, look at the little Ponzi scheme, actively helping the community. How noble. Here's my inheritance money. Even the primary vehicle for spreading winner lists, the aforementioned Transylvania Messenger, was basically just a political annex owned by the Cluj prefecture, broadcasting Caritas get-rich-quick propaganda day after day. This political entanglement turned a simple financial fraud into a state-endorsed social movement. Gheorghe Funar had only to gain from hosting this pyramid scheme in his domain: positive publicity and tourism, more money for him and his political party, and a way to spread his agenda. Because how can you make a pyramid scheme more popular? Blame the Hungarians. When foreign economists and financial experts from the IMF began to express their concern over the legitimacy of Caritas, Funar and his cronies doubled down, calling Caritas a Romanian miracle in the face of foreign cynicism and malice. And also blame George Soros, naturally. Also, emphasis on Romanian miracle. You invest your money, and in 5 seconds, some guy steals it. A true pinnacle of Romanian innovation. 1993 was the pinnacle of Caritas's fraud. I've already mentioned the numbers: between 35 and 50% of Romanian households, a third of Romania's money supply rolled, between $1 to $5 billion of the population savings involved, yada yada yada. However, keep in mind that Caritas was supposed to pay that money back eightfold. Naturally, some people ask themselves where their supposed winnings were coming from, spawning a couple of theories. Like how Caritas had access to Ceausescu's secret vaults, or that the money would come from the Securitate's hidden accounts. I mean, hell, who knows? Stoica may even have found the ancient Dacian tunnels and the gold they hoarded against the Romans. I don't know. These theories were merely the result of people deluding themselves that their investments had to pay off. The amount of money collected from foolish Romanians was so insanely large that once the rug was pulled, people struggled to fathom how someone could invest or spend it, spawning even more conspiracy theories. These ranged from the credible ones that the money went into Funar and his political party's accounts, to the insane ones that the billions of dollars were actually secret payments to NATO, either to guarantee Romania's entry or to fund the Yugoslav wars next door. You thought the Jews run the world? Silly little lamb. It was the Romanians all along. But these numbers, while they seem unfathomable, fail to tell the tragic story lived by so many Romanians. The queues outside the Cluj offices were immense, as more and more desperate souls made the pilgrimage to the Romanian Mecca. People would travel for days by train with their pensions, wedding savings, or money from selling their family livestock or home appliances. Entire villages pooled their funds, entrusting the community's future to one elected representative sent to Cluj. Neighbors who had nothing suddenly became fierce competitors, either loaning money at loan shark rates to desperate depositors or lining up again the moment their first massive payout came through, convinced the miracle was infallible. For them, it was literally a matter of life and death. and it was all for naught. In the fall of 93, more and more international news outlets reported on the Caritas scheme in Romania and began predicting its demise. Over time, more and more Romanian publications also started to shed some light on the scam. Worse than that, more and more investors were tired of waiting for their returns and were growing impatient and angry. So, what did Stoica do? He tried to buy as much time as possible and play the victim, delaying payments and making up fake stories of thieves breaking the Caritas vaults, presenting himself as a folk hero being persecuted by jealous rivals and foreign agents for trying to get the Romanian people out of squalor. Hey Stoica, I'm here for my money back. Yeah, I don't have it. What do you mean you don't have it? You won't believe me, but last night I was just preparing your payout, and when I went to sleep, I was awoken by a blue light. A UFO busted down my roof, and they beamed up the vault. I tried to fight them and hold on to vault, but their technology was far beyond my bare hands. All futile attempts, as the writing was on the wall. In 94, he was ultimately forced to close shop, but ensured his poor investors that this was only temporary, that he was just reorganizing things, and that everyone would get their money back. The money never came, obviously, and the inevitable finally arrived in the summer of 94 with the official bankruptcy of Caritas, swiftly followed by the arrest of Stoica. The Cluj tribunal sentenced him to 7 years of jail for fraud, but after an appeal, the sentence was reduced to only 2 years. Still unsatisfied, Stoica reduced his sentence even more, and he only served 1 year and 6 months. Following his jail time, he moved back to Brașov as a ruined man. In 2021, news broke out that he was kicked out of his flat for not paying his utilities. This turned out to be false because he had died 2 years before in a hotel room. And that was the Caritas scheme, a devastating Ponzi scheme that was in the right place at the right time. A seemingly mundane and crude scam that preyed on the Romanian people's lack of financial education and got out of control either due to institutional complacency or thanks to the support of sinister people in power looking to spread their influence, agenda, and money. But just like the other scams that ran rampant in 90s Romania, Caritas was a harsh lesson for many Romanians, teaching them to be pennywise and precautious when deals like this are too good to be true. And Romanians never fell for scams like Caritas ever again.